hell?
Good evening, Keeps Up the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joined, as always, on Tuesdays, we have Rob with the fattest stacks of comics in the
Hey
land.
there,
Rob,
comic
how
book
you doing
friends
tonight,
and
sir?
fiends. I'm in a better mood today. I don't know why. Contracts are driving me crazy at work, but I don't know. I'm just in a better mood. What the
Yeah.
hell?
And we
Maybe
get to play
maybe
on
it's our
YouTube, which isn't
guest.
bad,
Maybe it's our guest. Maybe it's comics.
right?
Maybe it's
And speaking
Maybelline.
of our guest, in the seat of honor this evening, uh, a man that I am proud to call a local friend, Mikhail, and each other through YouTube when we both figured out, while supporting each other's channel, that hey, we lived like less than 10 minutes away from each other. So we still, even though we're local, we don't get to meet up that often. But a great dude. He has served our country. He is an ex-Marine, and
There's no such
so
thing.
thank you for that.
No such thing
And
as an ex-marine.
Still a Marine. Just
Yeah,
still a Marine. Sorry,
just a Marine.
just not active duty.
Yeah,
not active duty. Non-active duty.
Unless they kick you out, there's no such thing as an ex-marine.
that's right.
And
A
as you
little
can
rounder,
see
a little
behind,
softer.
as you can see behind Kale, he is quite the collector. But we are here tonight because we had him dig into his stacks and pull out 10 favorites, one with an extended story, a 12th that's a spec pick, and I've known Kale a little bit now for a couple years now, and I am really curious as to what he's going to show tonight. So sub him up. He is Geekspot82 on YouTube and Instagram. His links are in the description below. But without further ado, Kale, tell us a little bit about your channel and what it's about and who you are, sir.
Well, I think the channel kind of speaks for itself. I'm the spot for geekdom, right? I anything geeky I'm kind of into in one way, shape, or form. As you can see behind me, I've got comic books and action figures. If I could turn the camera around, you would just see it oozing out of every open orifice of my office here. I've got tabletop games. I've got Magic the Gathering cards. I've got 3D printing. I've got, you name it. We're into it in one way, shape, or form.
Miniatures you paint.
I paint miniatures. Yes. I collect miniatures. You name it. I've got something. My toe has been dipped in mini pools.
Nice. You got a stack of those little muscle men from the.
You know what? I don't. But I loved those things when I was a kid.
Right.
Now
now
I
you're
looked
gonna go out and
into
get.
replacing them, and
You're
I could
welcome.
not justify the cost for the sheer nostalgia of it.
Oh,
Well,
nostalgia
that's the
is a
thing, right?
terrible drug.
It is.
Nostalgia costs us a lot of cash.
On the upside, nostalgia keeps you from doing cocaine.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm in the more expensive hobby, I think.
That's right.
Right?
Nobody's ever sucked up for a comic book. Well, that's probably not true.
Interesting.
Never
you
mind.
say that.
Let's go. Anywho,
Anyhow,
Sorry.
let's say
Sorry, I
hi
took
to
you there,
our
Gary.
chat. And we have Psychedelic Comics actually sneaking in before Last Crucis this evening. So we are officially in the
Wow.
Twilight Zone tonight. Good evening, Psychedelic. But there's Last Crucis cruising in at a cool second. Good evening, sir. And let's see. We also have Kenneth Berg. Good evening, Kenneth. And scrolling down, chop and drop. Got all the greats in here. Ew, I am skipping. Hold on. Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, Jerry. Nice to see you.
Jerry
And
will be on Only Slaps this Sunday.
Couching and Slouching. Couching and Slouching, if you have an Instagram, can you please contact me? I was looking for it and couldn't find it. Please message me if you have one.
He does.
And Cole's Comment Claims is here. Adam, good evening, sir. And Phil's Treehouse, good evening. I'm sure he has some pogs somewhere too, Phil.
Pogs.
I do
Nice.
have pogs.
CJ Comic Journey, good evening, sir. And CJ introduced me to a book which I'm about to read and review with him. I think it would be up your alley, and I think you may have read it, Kale. The Pro.
Oh,
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I've never read it, so it's going to be my first time reading it, and then CJ and I are going to have a little show about it.
Okay. That's an
All right,
interesting show for sure.
right. All right. So we have said hello to the chat, and as
Gary's
people,
first experience with a pro. I mean, with the pro.
oh, and right, the real OG, aka Bees Poppin'. All right, nice. Good evening. And Cole's Pogs are in a garage. All right, and with that, Kale, we're going to turn it back over to you, sir, and we're going to get into your first book and let you tell us a little bit about it, sir.
All right. Well, I think I put them in the right order, so we're going to try it.
Well, if not, you'll never be on this channel again.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Nobody's going to know anyway. So
Right, no threat.
So I'm going to start it off. So
be like the host. Make it up as you go along. Shh, don't tell anyone, though.
my comic book journey started at Grand Slam Comics in Fort Worth, Texas. So I grew up in just, outside of Dallas, Fort Worth. And the shop owner, I don't know, I was a young man, and he put a copy of Evil Ernie in my hands. And that's what got me into comics. So my first book to talk about is the first appearance of Evil Ernie. This was not the book that was given to me. I wish I still had that one, but the character is what set me down the path of reading comics and getting into books. I want to say it was probably Evil Ernie kills the Marvel Universe or kills the superheroes, and I was hooked from there. Even though I didn't know much about the Marvel Universe at the time, that definitely was the one that set me on the path. And now, as Gary can attest, I am quite a large Lady Death fan. Unfortunately, Brian Pulido no longer writes Evil Ernie. Somebody else is doing that for Dynamite Comics now, but I still try to support Mr. Pulido whenever I can.
Right. Yeah, Dynamite Comics is, being a Red Sonny fan, I know it's where IPs go to die sometimes.
Or to have variant print covers made.
Right.
Yeah,
Excessively.
and lots of them. Lots of them.
Yeah, well, Kel and I have that in common too with covers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm a cover purchaser for sure.
So Evil Ernie set you down your twisted path of comicdom, huh?
Absolutely did. Absolutely did. Yeah, me and my little brother, who was 5 years younger than me and absolutely should not have been reading that type of book at that time, was with me, and we were hooked from the jump. I remember vividly buying every issue I could get my grubby little hands on, and maybe sometimes not buying them appropriately.
Right.
Oh, this is a bomb shirt, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, a young Jeffrey Combs there.
That's right. Got the sleeves too. Oh, loved it. So the shirts, just to give them a plug, is from Cavity Colors. Great shipping, great cost for a shirt, vibrant colors.
And we got our sponsor out of the way.
There you go. There's the plug.
Now, see, I knew you
local
like Evil Ernie, but I didn't expect you to start with Evil Ernie. I didn't know he was the one that got you, that particular IP got you into it. So everything else kind of must have seemed tame if you were getting into the other two after that.
It definitely was tame, but way more appropriate,
right,
for the age group. And after that, I got myself into Daredevil. Was probably my first Marvel hero that I appreciated. The fact that he didn't have powers per se, and was still taking out big names and hanging with the big boys. And it spiraled from there, obviously.
Well, the three of us grew up in an age where, your parents looked the other way, and just like, as long as you weren't killing some other kids, it was okay to pretty much do what you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being sick and my mom bringing home, and again, it's one of those books I lost throughout the years here, but she brought me home. Probably the first one she ever bought me was a Painkiller Jane.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah. And she didn't know any better. She's like, here's some comics, you're sick. And I was like, thanks.
Great Amanda Connor.
Thanks, Mom. Parts of me are feeling better already.
Yeah. Feeling a little dizzy now, though. I don't know.
All right, let's number 2, sir.
Number 2, going down. Okay, so a little out of order, but that's all right.
No
So-
Scar, no
it's
Scar
as long
appearance tonight?
as
What was that?
You go, Rob.
I was going to say, as long as it's the next book you show, it's number 2, so
That's
it
true.
can't possibly be out of order.
Well, okay, so a little bit of preface for this one. So, as I said, I got into Daredevil. Later in life, I joined the Marine Corps, as we know about. I was stationed in Kansas City, which there's not a duty station there. It was a campus. And I found a antique store that sold rough-looking books for $2 a pop. So I picked up a copy of Daredevil 30. I had to check. Just because, it was classic cover, had Thor and Daredevil. Nice, older book. And later, flipping through my books, I saw what I thought somebody wrote on it. And I was like, oh, man, I'll take a closer look. And when you know it's a signature
Signed by Stan Lee.
Wow.
So
Good $2 spent.
Great $2 spent. Yeah. So I still have I bought this, and I bought like a shipping container that they used to use for luggage, like a cargo ship container style. And
Chest.
Chest.
Or locker, foot locker type thing. Yeah.
I still have that as well, but this was.
But yeah, no, that you can really make some good return on your investment. I mean, I'll give you $20. I mean,
that's 1,000% increase.
That's right.
4 or 5
What
is decent.
What kind of
era
profit
too?
can you make, man?
Yeah. So again, as I said, this was a cover buy. I mean, take that off, and that's still just a great cover with Thor versus Daredevil. You got Mole Man in the background.
Yeah, for $2, it's a great buy regardless. But you throw Stan Lee on it, and all of a sudden, that's just it's no longer a great buy as it is an epic tale.
Yeah, exactly. Hence it being on the list today.
I need one of those $2 buys where it has like some hidden gem on it somewhere. Nice one. That was great. All right, number 3, bud.
Number 3. All right. So
Stan Lee.
The next couple, you got to bear with me. I was born in the 80s, but I hit my prime with comics in the 90s. So I got to go Wildcats.
Wow.
Oh.
So, and this is just one of probably the 13 Wildcats number 1. I've also got the Malibu Sun first appearance of the Wildcats, but this was the first one that I remember buying. And again, you couldn't say enough. Jim Lee just knocked it out of the park. It's got my favorite superhero now, but when I was young, I was more into Spartan to start, believe it or not. So,
but now it's Grifter.
Well, yeah, you get a little older, a little more cynical. Grifter makes more sense.
Now, as a fan of Grifter and Wildcats, what do you think of them at DC? Have you been reading the new stuff, and does it compare?
I have been reading the new story. Yet to be seen. I want to see what they did with it. There is a fairly large spoiler we're currently in the middle of, and I want to see what happens with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that spoiler you're talking about will still be around.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Number 4, sir.
Number 4. So you and I were talking about this very briefly before the show kicked off, but Divine Right was probably the first series that I bought every issue for and read multiple times, and nobody's ever heard of it, but that's all right. This is a great Jim Lee cover, and I absolutely loved it. This was one of the characters that kind of segued into the Wildstorm era when he sold it to DC Comics, all his books and characters, and that character, Max Faraday, is kind of what initiated that move, and at least in the comics. So
now, was Divine Right a team or just a single person?
He's a single person. Of course, he's got a great cast of characters, as any good book will. And come on, hot babe with guns on the front cover. Of course, I was buying that as a teen, right?
Right. And the American flag. They were putting everything on there for you.
I mean, that's a win. That's a win for me.
I mean, is she smoking a cigar too?
She absolutely is smoking a cigar. So you couldn't be more 90s. Rob doesn't even know what to say about that
what
one.
more could you do to sell it?
Well, in that era, she's actually wearing too many clothes. But
Right?
in the
Agreed.
Well, at
90s,
least
a lot of
Rob
those.
Liefeld didn't
Well,
get near him, put any pouches on her.
right. Well, she's got her own pouches.
Right. All right. Number 5, Kale.
Number 5. It's another image. Look, I got a lot of image. All right.
That's okay.
David Finch, Ascension, number 1. So this book and Divine Right hit me about at the same time, and this was I think a 22 issue run, and Dave Finch just blew me away with his art, and yeah, great story about Nephilim and fallen angels, and good book.
You know, David Finch, his art is always incredible.
It is phenomenal.
When did this come out? What, mid 90s or
Mid to late, yeah. I'd have to look it up to be able to tell you offhand here. I'm sure we can have somebody fact check us better than I could.
There you go, okay. Look, there's another guy that's going to be bringing image when he makes his appearance.
All right. I'm
as soon as you say fallen angels and stuff, I immediately start thinking of prophecy, and I was wondering where it fit in time. Even though they're unrelated, I just kind of thinking in my mind when from a release standpoint. But just because I'm a big fan of the original Prophecy movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little Christopher Walken never hurts.
Well, just the whole concept, right? Of like a concept of a continuous angelic war that's been going on without anybody knowing and how that could play out is just very interesting to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is, like I said, I hit Divine Right and Ascension about the same time. And that was
very cool.
Yeah. That was one of the only series I collected the entire series start to finish as a younger man. Now it's not uncommon, but back then,
right.
Harder to spend that milk money.
I wasn't an image guy, so a lot of the times I'm learning about these things as you guys come on and show them. I'm like, oh, I'll go back.
Yeah, and you can pick these books up for. I mean, these are dollar bin books. I'm not gonna lie, but
most image books are.
Yeah, but great story. For a quick read, or
But that's also the bonus too to being a niche collector. Is a lot of times you can get what you really love cheap.
Yeah,
it's either. Well, it's either on one end or the other. It's very seldom in the middle, right? When you're a niche collector, it's either astronomical or it's dollar bin cheap.
I wish I wasn't a niche collector when it came to like Golden Age robot and bubble helmets. Thanks. Right? I'm on the wrong end of niche.
You are the wrong side of the spectrum, Rob.
I'm looking at the cover as we're talking here, and she's got her cigarette too. So
there you go.
Still smoking in the 90s.
Right. Yeah. Which makes me wonder when they actually stopped that in comics. Like at least with the mainstream ones.
Yeah.
I mean now they don't care. The indies put out whatever they want, which is nice, and you can actually just read a story that's not disturbed by the creator.
Absolutely.
Which is what I like about indies these days.
Agreed.
There's no one shutting doors on them. They can just fly. All right, number 6, buddy.
Number 6. Most people know this book, but it was a cover by Fathom.
Oh, yep, Michael Turner.
Another artist that just blew everybody away, and native with big boobs. It was hard to turn down.
Then who are you going to go for in the water? Are you going to go for Aquaman? Or are you going to go for Fathom?
Yeah.
No contest.
Still a huge Michael Turner art fan. Anything I see with his name on it, I pick up.
And they're still pumping out. Like they have a guy that interprets. They use his original art, but then he puts different costumes and stuff on for stuff.
Yeah. They recently just had a Kickstarter for Soulfire and Soulfire Core. So
Ignacio stopping by to class us up a little, boobs.
I was trying to think if that was. You said something about Aquaman or something. It wasn't around. Fathom was around 98, 99. So I was trying to think, was that when Aquaman was running around with his one arm.
Yes. Yes.
Well, he shouldn't
The
have touched
the
Fathom
the,
there. She
the
took it off.
edgy Aquaman. I have
Yeah.
a harpoon
Exactly.
for an arm.
Well, that
Yeah.
was and then he had what? Soulfire, right?
Yeah. Soulfire was his other big book.
Right.
And they've both had new releases. I just picked up a reprint of issue 1 of Fathom, done by Sora Song, who does some gorgeous art herself.
And I've been doing some Michael Turner shorts this week of him doing Red Sonja and Spider-Man, which just phenomenal.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right, number 7, bud.
Number 7. So the first time I fell in love with a villain was a Marvel villain, and it was the Hobgoblin.
Oh.
So that's why I have this one. So I've been a Hobgoblin fan since I can remember. He's by far my favorite Marvel villain, and I would argue my favorite villain overall. Even
I always like the Demo Goblin too.
The Demo Goblin or Demon Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a great character design.
Absolutely. So I enjoyed that character so much. I'd done another YouTube channel. A friend of mine, Drawing Conversations, did a drawing and had me talk about the character history and where he came from, and a great experience. And I've got an original art print. You can't see it; it's just off camera here, but that he sent me of that. It was a lot of fun.
And which one's your favorite Hobgoblin?
Yeah, you beat me to it, Rob, because there's been a lot of them.
Well, the original would definitely be my favorite, and you can argue, was it Ben Ulrich? Was it, oh my gosh, my brain.
Ned Leeds.
Ned Leeds, yes. Because they had the 4 different reveals there, and each time they'd reveal the character, that character would get killed off or moved off, and you never really knew who the original was for the longest time.
Damn. And while we're talking about goblins, we'll give a quick plug to Manny the Hobgoblin Collector, who has a great YouTube channel that delves into everything goblins. So, really cool. You would actually love that channel a lot.
I'm sure I would.
All right, so Hobgoblin, I didn't expect that one from you, Kale. That's a good surprise.
I was really happy to pick that one up the other day at I was at one of the Berkeley Comic Show. I was able to pick up a slabbed 8.5 version of that finally, with the tattoos and everything intact, and
fantastic.
Super happy to finally add one myself to my PC.
Yeah, this was a gift, and I can't lie, I've never actually opened to see if it has the innards. I'm scared. I don't want to know yet.
Now, if it does it, do they give it the purple label or the green label?
It'd be green, or it would be knocked downgrade for being incomplete.
That's all right. This is mine. It doesn't have to be.
I have to double check though, because if that's the I can't remember. I think the tattoos might only be in the direct edition. May not be in the newsstand.
Well,
I'd have to double check. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know there's a book where there's some kind of insert where there's it's only in the direct version, not in the newsstand, and so it makes a difference. But I think that's it. Somebody in the chat, if somebody in the chat knows, throw it out there and let me know.
I know. I wish Manny was in here. He might know.
Is Rob high again, or is he just fucking?
See, I almost half expected Doom, because every time someone picks a Marvel villain, it's either Thanos or Doom.
I can't poo-poo on either, but I mean, you can see I've got there it is. There's Hobby in the background there. I know I've got at least there's one right there. I got the art right there. He's my guy. He's been my guy.
I'm a Green Goblin guy, but I respect Hobgoblin.
I like the color scheme of the Hobgoblin way better.
And
I was never a big Norman Osborn fan, as sacrilegious as it is to say.
Yeah, I could never get into Normie. I liked Green Goblin, and without Green Goblin, there would be no Hobgoblin, because that's kind of how he got his start. He found Norman's stash while he was in prison.
Yeah.
Those goblins, man. Hashtag too many goblins. Now we got Red Goblin, Gold Goblin, Dingleberry Goblin. There's goblins everywhere.
Goblin Child.
Right? Goblin Queen.
Yep.
Hashtag Goblin Life.
Now, are you reading any of the new Goblin stuff? Are you digging that at all?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't read anything new from Marvel.
Okay. I didn't know if the Goblins drew you in or not.
Nope. I did pick up what's the new one that had Hallows Eve?
Yes.
I picked up one cover just because it was a good cover, but
Yeah. It's a great character design.
Concept.
I'm not
It's
interested in
somewhat
learning more about her.
I like the idea of with that character of the changing the masks gives different power sets. So
Yeah.
it's really kind of actually a cool thing, and the fact that they're not just necessarily, there's some drawbacks to them as well, but so that's kind of cool. But as far as that storyline was at least interesting in bringing both hobgoblins along with the gold goblins, or actually that's more in the gold goblin book, where gold goblin was dealing with both hobgoblins at the same time as the original was back with getting Ned Leeds back, so they were both simultaneously being hobgoblin.
Okay.
And Norman Osborn has in his now new I'm a good guy gold goblin form.
The last I read was the Red Goblin beginning.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I gotta
800.
Yeah.
Well, then they got there's a limited series now, Red Goblin, that that's outright being put out right now. But
yeah.
Well, and that's Marvel combining two of too many things: too many goblins, too many symbiotes, and then they're putting them together.
Yeah. Now you have too many.
Right. Now, I got to ask you, being a Goblin fan,
Yeah.
when you were a kid, because you're also a horror fan like I am.
I'm a horror fan? What?
I know, right? How blown away
Well,
were
we know
you,
you're a fan of the horrors, Gary. That's why you're reading the Pro.
right? When you first watched Maximum Overdrive and saw the truck with the goblin face on it. Like, that always stuck out to me as a kid. I wanted to see that movie just because the goblin face was on that truck.
Absolutely. I had no idea what I was actually in for when I watched that movie for the first time. I was expecting, a Carrie-esque movie, not whatever Maximum Overdrive ended up being.
I don't even remember. The only thing I remember right now is Emilio Estevez and the Goblin Mask. And I don't remember anything else. I'll probably have to watch it again and see if I liked it or not. Now, as an adult. All right, number 8, buddy.
Number 8. So another Image book, but this was the one that, I'd kind of gotten out of comics there for a while. I did a couple of deployments and was busy with, being a young poophead, shithead, whatever you want to call it. But Invincible brought me back in.
Oh, nice.
Before I was into, Walking Dead or anything else, this was the one that grabbed me back because it was superheroes on steroids again, and unabashedly so. So I thank Mr. Kirkman for that.
Big boy book alert.
Now, I've only seen the first 3 episodes. Have you watched that season?
Absolutely, I watched that season.
and you love it, of course, right?
I do. I'm working on that. I did not complete that series. I am now 78 comics deep into completing that series. So
hopefully you're on the back end of that 78 where it's less expensive than the front end, which is
we're getting there. We're getting there
right now.
Just a couple on the front end left, but not many.
Now, what do you think about what they're doing with the boys? Because part of why we brought up the Pro, CJ brought up the Pro, is he thinks that might be the next property.
Oh, that's his spec.
That might be the next property Amazon develops with the way they're going. But what did you think of the boys and Invincible? You're a fan of both?
Yes, I absolutely am. I still have the graphic novels of the boys. I used to have the individual issues, but that paid for my second divorce. But I loved the boys when I was reading them, and I think the show's been phenomenal. I love that they still brought in the original Huey actor from Shaun of the Dead and had him play a part, even though he wasn't the Huey. And I think Butcher was spot on with Carl Urban, so I'm not upset about any of that.
Carl Urban's one of those actors, man. You just plug him in and he does it. He was a great McCoy in Star Trek. Like, who can play McCoy? He's on there. You love him. You
Yeah.
know,
Look,
you put him as Judge Dredd. He was great.
I'm a Carl Urban fan. I watched him in Pathfinder. I watched him in
I
The
love
Lonesome
Pathfinder.
Dove.
Nobody likes that movie or talks about it.
No, I love that movie. He
And
was in
Moon
Lonesome
Bloodgood.
Dove, the sequel to Lonesome Dove, or the prequel, I guess it would be. Playing Captain Call. I love me some Carl Urban.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those journeyman actors too. You can just put him in anything. He's great.
Yep,
All right,
yep.
number 9.
Number 9. So it's been a couple years now, but I had started a secondary Instagram page called Geekstone United, and I still have one of the remnants of it. Right, and it was me and a friend of mine, and we were helping comic book artists and writers who wanted to go, get their book published either through Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but they needed help either planning it or help getting resources or an artist or vice versa. And we were kind of helping make some connections just because between the two of us, we knew a lot of people. And one of his favorite all-time books, he was a Golden Age collector, and he sold me on it, was Airboy.
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember you showing me those.
Yeah, and now I am absolutely addicted to Airboy comics and that atomic age of heroes. And yeah, I just think I love these old school covers that are probably not appropriate anymore for various reasons, but it's definitely a timestamp of where we were at that time. And
I think you melted Rob's brain going from Image to Airboy.
And now this is something I can get behind.
Absolutely. So
now, is Airboy what led to your Rocketeer love?
Well, so that's what reignited that love, because I read some of these Airboy stories and that pulp hero, writing style and the vibe of Airboy. And it's a perfect segue. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in number 10 here while we're talking about it.
Go ahead.
Brought me back to my love of the Rocketeer. So this book is special to me because a mutual friend of ours, Ken, drew this cover for me with Rocketeer and Airboy on what better book? Crossover. So
nice. And his art really fits that style too.
Yeah, it works perfectly. And I don't know if Pocan's still on, but Pocan made me the awesome helmet that you see up there in the back.
I had Joe on again not long ago for a second appearance. We were talking about that helmet. I said, I got to see it in person when I was over at Kale's house. He goes, yeah, I made it too small for his head. I go, no, Kale's just got a big fat head.
Yeah, I got a big old melon.
I go, you're already fighting a losing battle on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I see Kale in person. Kale's got a big head.
Absolutely.
See, there he is right there.
Yeah. I can't help it. I'm the biggest and the strongest.
Right?
But
I don't even exercise.
But yeah, no, that's one of the jewels in my entire collection, Joe. I want you to know how much I truly love that thing. So
now just make him a jetpack to go with it.
I pushed, and I think Joe was sold on it, but his wife vetoed that. Him mixing, different combustibles, I think, was too much for her.
Right. Just like I can just see that thing. Me in Rochester seeing a big explosion in the sky, going, "Well, at least Kale went out the way he wanted."
Yep, falling to my death, surrounded by dildos. Wait,
right?
Different green.
Wow.
I thought it was a parachute.
That's the wrong backpack.
That's from a movie, The Goods. I'm quoting the movie, The Goods there.
Now, I was going to ask you too. I tried to get it in earlier. No Scar appearance, huh?
No,
the kids asleep.
It's a school night, buddy.
See, I was a kid that was up at 1 o'clock in the morning because I was watching David Letterman. So.
Oh yeah. No, she's far too good of a kid. She's up there wrangling, making sure that the rest of the kids are being quiet, so Dad's not disturbed. But she was very interested. She helped go through the books and help me kind of pick out which ones we were going to talk about tonight. So,
Well, 1 out of 3 is not bad. You got one of them trained right, huh?
yeah, the other two are completely feral, but I'll take it.
That's what they have. That's what duct tape's for.
Yeah.
All right. Number 11 with a personal story.
All right. I feel like I've given you a personal story with all of them a bit.
Well,
but-
it is, but like a longer, more involved one.
All right. So, again, my journey, I was in the Marine Corps. So, my last duty station, I got stuck in Hawaii. And I was there for a couple of months before I realized I didn't have a shop. I didn't have a comic shop. Look, this is a good show, guys. But I didn't have a dedicated comic shop, and I needed a fix, right? I needed somewhere to get my books. So I started researching online, and everybody knows about Midtown Comics. At least back then, this was 2007, 2008. So Midtown was full swing. But I'd heard some bad things about their shipping practices back then, and I was a little scared. So
Things never change.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it out loud.
I will. I'm not endorsed or sponsored in any way by anywho.
There you go. But a friend of mine told me he had ordered some books from Graham Cracker Comics out of Chicago. So I started ordering from them. I'd ordered from them for, I don't know, maybe a month or two. And they had this is about the time IDW acquired the rights to G.I. Joe. And Gary can attest, I'm as much as I'm a fan of all the books we've talked about, I'm equally as big into G.I. Joe as anything else. I've got a cabinet full of the figures that's just off camera here.
And you have yourself made as a Joe.
I have my own personal G.I. Joe. That is correct. So very big into G.I. Joe. So I reached out to him because Robert Atkins, the guy that was writing for the IDW book, was going to do an in-store signing. I was like, look, guys, there's no way I'm going to be able to make it. What can you do for me? And without skipping a beat, they sent me, these are just 2 of the, I think 6 covers they ended up sending me, personalized to me by him, and didn't even charge me, just sent them out to me as a gift.
Nice.
And still 2 of my favorite books to this day. Story wasn't that great. Sorry, Robert.
What do you mean? That's a great story. They sent you personalized books for free and, part of your service. That's a great story.
Yeah.
And I always like stories where the
referring to the
creators
story
are
inside the pages, Gary, but
Thanks.
Gotcha. Sorry, I was just thinking about how cool it was. I was stuck in how cool it was that dude would do that for you.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about it between the pages.
And to this day, anytime I can't find what I'm looking for with a local shop, that is the first place I'll go. Before I go to, thanks, CJ. Before I go to eBay, before I go to eBay or anywhere else, I'll check Graham Crackers and see if I can order it from them first. I've made friends, through our journey on YouTube and Instagram, that one of them worked at Graham Crackers, and that only deepened that love for that shop. So,
and I had never heard of them before until you.
Yeah. They're not as well known as your Mile High Comics or Midtown Comics, things like that. But great customer service that I've never had an issue with them, not once. So,
wow, nice.
Another good plug.
Now,
Nice.
Yeah, so they're still going now, strong, right?
As far as I know, the website still works.
I'll have to check them out because I've bought from Midtown before, and their customer, or at least when they ship really nice, everything's packed good. But I like having another place to shop.
Yeah. I'm glad you had good experience with Midtown. I did not.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right.
Wait until they a shipment doesn't get to you, and you have to wait 2 to 3 months before they'll be willing to refund it because they have to wait for the full investigation by the post office.
Oh, geez. Yeah, luckily, everything I've ever ordered, I've gotten. So,
Yeah.
I guess I've been fortunate.
Yeah.
Luck of the draw. Good for you.
So you've had equal horror stories, huh?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I don't shop with them anymore because of my past experiences with them. Yeah. I cut them off. I don't care how good some of their deals were. I found other places.
Well, you're two guys I trust, so I believe
Hey,
that.
your experience should color your own your what you do with you. Until you have a bad experience, there's no reason not to use somebody who's done you well. Just because I have a bad experience, that's me. Whether or not I choose to continue to shop somewhere based on my personal experiences has nothing to do with anyone or anybody else, nor should it be an influence, CJ, of where somebody should or shouldn't shop.
Rob's good at putting the disclaimers in there.
I work in contract law.
You got see, okay, Joe. Just saw Graham Cracker at Planet Midtown is trash. All right, that's three guys whose opinions I trust.
I don't know if we should trust
I'm
Pocan.
just
He's a
lucky.
little.
And
You can trust Pocan. It just depends upon what time of day it is.
Just don't trust
And
him.
You can trust that you can trust his word, and later on you can trust that he has a high alcohol volume.
Just don't trust him to make you homemade diamonds.
And it's funny because I ordered a book from there.
Oh, I love you, Pocan.
That
Absolutely.
I was nervous about it arriving because it was a rather pricey book, and it actually beat my expectations to my apartment. And so
Yeah, but
I'm going to count myself lucky that nothing happened with that now. But wow.
Yeah.
All right. Your spec pick, Kale.
Spec pick. I don't know if it's still a spec pick. So at one point, this book was supposed to be a TV show, and I think it got lost in development hell. But it ties in a couple of things I'm into: comic books, Neo Good Girl covers, horror movies, and Image Comics ultimately. Hack Slash.
Oh, okay.
Probably didn't see that one coming, did you, Gary?
You know what? I should have seen it because I know you're big into Hack Slash.
I am very big into Hack Slash. So at one point it was supposed to be a show, and then nothing ever came of it. So for those of you who don't know, it's about Cassie Hack. Her mom dies and comes back as a revenant lunch lady who's killing the children at the local high school, and Cassie has to put her down. And she does so with a vengeance, and in doing so, she decides that her new quest in life is going to be to hunt down these revenants and take them out before they hurt innocent people. Where she meets Vlad, who's a kind of a mongoloid-looking guy. Can you say mongoloid anymore? I don't know. That's whatever.
Thanks for getting me canceled.
Now you got your unions, your contract law. But she meets him and goes to kill him. Ultimately realizes he's just a big old dummy and not actually out to hurt anybody. So they go around hunting down all the big bads. There's been crossovers with Chucky, with Nailbiter, with The Crow, with Chaos Comics and Evil Ernie. They did a crossover with Suicide Girls. So lots of nice. How do you respond to that? So great book, a lot of fun to read. Tim Seeley does the art and was the character development, and I loved his style for this. Still collect a lot of his stuff. He did some great covers on that new Barbaric book.
Yes,
Barbaric when it came out.
The covers are gorgeous on that.
Yep, the covers I ended up buying I could not show on here, but they were fun. But yeah, so that's my spec pick. We'll see what happens. I think it would be prime for an Amazon
that aren't able to be shown.
I'll show you later. Yeah.
Yes, I would say definitely send me pics because I didn't know that. A former New Yorker in Texas watching a former New Yorker, Texan in New York. Yep.
Nick, I still have to this day.
Well, it's like the worst trade ever.
Right.
The letter that he sent me with some of his stickers and stuff. I've also got a couple of other great guys in there. Pocan being one of them. So I got stuff for you. I just haven't mailed it yet because I suck at life. But I miss Nick and his muscles all the same.
Oh, I know from living in the same area as you that you're a busy dude.
Yeah, I got my toes in too many things.
I know what that and so cool spec pick. Now that was a super popular anime for a long time, right?
Hack slash?
Yeah, I thought that was an anime too.
You would be teaching me something. I don't know.
All right. I really think it was. Now, unless it's a different hack slash.
Well, now I'm going to look into it as soon as we get off of this.
You might have been missing out for a couple years there, buddy.
Absolutely would be missing out.
Oh, we got Izzy versus. I'm just a New Yorker still living in New York. Yeah, I'm from upstate New York, still living in upstate New York. So I've been a couple places, but oh well, what are you gonna do?
Every time
For
I
some
think
reason, I always end up where it's cold.
every time I think I'm going to get out, they I get an offer I can't refuse, and then I get stuck here. So
Right.
There's
Well, those
hack and slash. Hack slash.
yeah, it'd be hack slash. I think is how they write it out.
Yeah, there's
hack slash and then the word slash.
This is hack / sign, which was a anime. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of weird, and then hack and slash games, hack and slash anime, hack slash. Yeah, no, it's like hack slash. I don't know. Let's see. What
Yeah. So if you check it out, you're gonna have to let me know if it's the same thing.
I will do both.
But I definitely think it is.
We'll see.
But I've never watched any, but there's. Did you ever read any of the manga then?
For hack slash?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same thing. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I love all these Princess Bride references.
Look, I literally just before I got on here, I was watching on YouTube the Princess Bride home movies that they made during the pandemic. Did you see these?
No.
Look it up. Well worth the hour investment.
Princess Bride home movies.
Yep, Princess Bride home movie. I think that it went for like Hunger for Humanity or something like that. Like it was a charity thing, and you've got all kinds of different actors playing out the movie in their backyard during the pandemic, shooting it on their camera
I think
phones.
I remember vaguely hearing about this.
It is everything you want it to be.
I gotta watch it.
I was dying watching it. It was perfect. So throwback to that Be Kind Rewind movie with Jack Black and Mos Def.
Doesn't matter what else Carrie Elwes ever does. He's always going to be Wesley.
Absolutely, as you wish.
Oh, my sweet Wesley.
You pig, you swine.
I can quote that movie all night.
Why can't he be the Dread Pirate Roberts?
I can't. I'll just quote
it all night. Sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
Yes. I tell people all the time that was the perfect movie. Grandfather summed it up perfectly. It's got fencing, it's got fighting, it's got romance, it's got kissing. It's got
RUSs.
RUSSs.
Well, and that when you watch it, I think it's a timeless movie too. Like it's in my opinion only, the most quotable movie in movie history. Like where you can quote famous lines from a lot of movies, but there's like 100 lines you can quote out of that movie.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of movies that are like that too, but some of them you shouldn't quote.
Right.
That's the problem with Blazing Saddles. It's got 100 quotable lines,
you can't quote,
but you probably shouldn't quote them, at least not in mixed company.
Manny, we were talking about you earlier. We were showing some Hobgoblin love in here.
Yes, we were.
Bold claim. Yeah. I back it up, Nick.
Yeah, my most quotable would probably be Tombstone.
Yeah.
Really?
I can recite that entire movie as well. It's bad. I'm not allowed to watch it with my wife.
I'm sorry. I forgot you.
Oh, because you just ruined it for her talking, saying the lines?
Yep. Yeah. My Johnny Tyler, the madcap. That whole movie.
I was like, I forgot you was there.
You may go now.
Go now.
That's true. Austin Powers is definitely quotable too.
Absolutely quotable.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good movies. Yeah. All right, good. Phenomenal job, sir.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part is you threw Rob for a good loop when you went from Image to Airboy.
No, I didn't see that one coming.
Well, that's the thing. Like when he says he has his toes in a lot, there's just knowing him for a little bit. I don't think there's anything he doesn't really collect a little bit of.
Yep. I got a box of toenails somewhere I can show you guys if you want
Right.
to see them. I'm going to make a
Just
sculpture.
as long
one
as
day.
they're all yours or your kids and not trophies from murder victims.
And another box of elf teeth. Santa doesn't go there anymore. Sorry, I had to play it up.
Hell yeah.
All right. Do I make you Randy? Oh, all right. CJ's doing his own thing in there. All right, Kale. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. Fun books. Great seeing the slice of your personal collection, because that's what this show's all about. What's personal to the people that are on it. It's always a great insight. Really like that Evil Ernie was first, because I don't think anyone's even brought Evil Ernie on. Well, no one's brought any of the books you brought on, actually, so that was great. I love when I see all new books. And
I'm glad I could please then.
well, a lot of people bring all new books. That's what's great about this, right? You don't have to see an ASM 300 every week or a 252, or
I feel like I'm being attacked here.
what? Oh no. No. I'm talking like the big channels where they talk about like the toms and stuff, where it's all about the same 10 books on their list all the time.
Yeah, I've always been the counterculture guy, and the more popular something is, the less I'm into
And there's
it.
nothing wrong with their list. It's just
No.
I've seen the list.
Yeah.
I'm up for something different than the list.
Yep.
No, but that was great. And if you have over 30 slabs, you can make an appearance on Rob's show.
That's good to know.
You got to have at least 30 slabs.
Hold on, let me.
That you're willing to show, that you want to show.
2 seconds, Turkish.
Hey, it's all right. You got plenty of time. I can get you on until June at the earliest.
Well, he's looking that up. Rob, what's coming up for you this week, sir?
Well, tomorrow is nothing special, but the day after tomorrow, Thursday, as I remember what day of the week it is, we'll have a Fist Comics mystery box unboxing, and then Saturday on Only Slabs, the show that we were just talking about, Jerry the Jitterbug is coming by, so you want to make sure that you run over there, bookmark it, your notification, all that other fun stuff, because you're going to want to make sure you check out Jerry the Jitterbug on Only Slabs this Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern.
Where you're sure to see tons of Golden Age.
I have no idea. I never like to predict what we're going to see. We can only hope.
Right. I think you're hopeful.
I'm hoping for actually, I don't care what age they are. I'm hoping for some good books. I'm hoping actually for some great stories about the work that he does, and seeing these after effects of what the books are, being able to see some of see and hear some of those stories that went into getting the books into the condition that they're in. So,
right.
Is that something unique that Jerry offers that nobody else can do?
Yeah, I've got a book I would love for Jerry to take a peek at. So,
yeah. Cool. Thank you, Jerry.
Well, there's a few of us that know him. Coming up for me, I am actually taking this Thursday off to recoup and rest, so there will not be in the hot seat this week because I need a night off. I do a lot of YouTube, and I need a night. So, but we will be back with another 10-1-1 next week on Tuesday with PSN Green Hulkster. So he will be in Kale's seat, and we'll see what books are important to him. And Kale, anything coming up for you, sir?
It's a mystery. I've got some tabletop game box openings. I just got flooded with 3 games from Kickstarter that I would like to show off. And I've been doing shorts more. A little Gary Bird told me I should do more shorts, so I've been doing some more shorts as of late. So you'll see those coming out, and yeah, hopefully some more comic content soon.
No, me and my kid relaxing at home,
playing some Switch probably.
Right. Me probably playing some Apex and just killing people. And so,
Nice.
but nice. And well, what was that one game you were telling me about that you wanted to get me over to play?
Hero Quest.
Hero
The
Quest,
best thing
that's
about
it.
Hero Quest is Hero Quest.
Now this is the game that he is always saying is what, the best game ever?
Yes.
I've never played it.
Rob, oh my gosh.
I'll tell you, I'm a big Catan guy for myself personally, but in this household, the one that gets played the most is Munchkin. With my kids are
Yeah.
into D&D to an extent, but they don't, but most of the family isn't ready for the full blown deal. So Munchkin is super popular in this household.
So
and
the next step, Rob, I'm
it's
telling
Small
you,
World, and then
Hero Quest. It is D&D on rails, baby. It gives you everything you need.
I have never played Munchkin. I have never
oh,
played
dude, your son
Catan.
may dig it. You would probably dig it, and your son would dig it. Munchkin's like everything that's great about D&D without having to come up with a story and
Mhm.
without having to develop a character. It's just freaking kicking
And-
down doors, taking loot, and building crazy, silly
Oh, yeah.
characters because of the silly names and stuff a lot of just
Gary,
crazy.
I gotta get you over. We'll have a game night. Bring your son,
Yeah,
and
as nerdy as I am, I've never played any of those.
I got them
What's
all. Baby.
a great way to get exposed to trying some of those games was actually was Will Wheaton's channel. He had a series for a while. I don't know if it's still on tabletop, where that's where I first used to watch some stuff. He had pseudo celebrities come on and they would do talk through as they played a game in a condensed amount of time. And
Well, I'm nowhere near as
Yeah.
handsome as Will Wheaton, but I can walk you through a bunch of. I got
Yeah,
Munchkin.
yeah.
I've got Hero Quest. We've got Zombie Side.
Zombie Dice, that was a fun one.
Zombie Dice is fun. I've got some collectible card games. Obviously, Magic, Ascension. What else I got?
You
Legendary.
guys have no idea how big Kale's basement is. It's like three apartments strung together.
It's not that. It's 1,500 square feet. It's not that
It's
big.
pretty big.
It's
You have an epic setup down there, buddy.
Yeah, big game table and stuff. Nice.
yeah.
Where's my Magic deck?
The old couple that lived here and are now chained to my radiator, they don't seem to mind so much anymore.
Oh,
That's what they get. All right. And,
that's where it is.
but you got something to show real quick, Ryan?
No. I was just trying to figure out where he mentioned. So I was wondering where the hell my Magic deck was.
Oh, the Shivan Dragon.
Oh, there's a few of them. But,
Okay.
these are I used to play like in the '90s. So
yeah.
this is all like my shit from the '90s. So it's all like stuff that when I bust them out to play with anybody today, it's every card I play, modern players have to read to see what the hell it is and go, wait a second. And every card they play, I have to pause and read because I don't know anything modern shit.
Yeah, I'm very much a commander player, so most of my decks are commander decks, but I've got a couple of historic and modern decks. So.
Yeah.
See, I have no idea what any of that meant.
Again,
Wizard.
I played from 1992 to 1994. In my early days of radio, it was something we did in the radio booth between sets, and that was it. And then I still have like my original deck somewhere. Other than that, I got rid of most of my bulk of cards a long time ago.
Now, when you sit down to play a game, is that like hours of play or
no,
like a 20-minute game?
It's the game. Yeah, the games are maybe could be anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes depending upon the individual game, and then you play multiple games. It's just
right.
Or you have multiple people. You shuffle people around, play different decks, and
that's it.
Oh, Kale just went low def on us.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh. Kale, we can't hear you.
Internet lag.
Yep. All right, we'll sign off and we'll talk to him backstage. Everyone, Kale, thank you so much for coming on. Rob, thank you as always, buddy. Everyone in the audience, in the chat, thank you so much for spending the night with us and watching. And, of course, anyone catching us on the rewind, we appreciate you. And please sub up these two fine gentlemen in the comments below. And until next time, Keep it casual.